Terence Henry Stamp was an English actor whose magnetic presence, dramatic versatility, and storied career have left an indelible mark on cinema. Born in Stepney, London, Stamp trained at the Webber Douglas Academy of Dramatic Art before making his screen debut in Peter Ustinov's Billy Budd, 1962. His powerful portrayal earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor and a Golden Globe for Most Promising Newcomer. In the swinging 1960s, Stamp became an icon of mod culture. With his brooding good looks and poised charisma, he became a muse of fashion photographer David Bailey, and alongside figures like Julie Christie and Jean Shrimpton, embodied the zeitgeist of swinging London. He displayed stunning range in early films. The obsessive kidnapper Freddie Clegg in The Collector 1965 earned him Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival. Other notable works include Far from the Madding Crowd, 1967, Modesty Blaise, 1966, Poor Cow, 1967, and Pasolini's Teorema, 1968. Despite a quieter period in the late 1960s and 1970s, including a spiritual sojourn in India, Stamp re-emerged with one of his most famous roles, the Kryptonian General Zod, in Superman 1978, and its sequel, Superman 2, 1980. His riveting delivery, hypnotic gaze, and complex villainy made Zod one of the most memorable villains in superhero history. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, Terence Stamp found himself at a crossroads. Although he had been one of the brightest stars of the British New Wave and a leading man in European art cinema, Hollywood seemed less certain about how to use him. After the initial wave of fame, Stamp resisted typecasting and was selective about his roles, which sometimes meant long stretches without high-profile work. The glamorous headlines about his personal life began to fade, and for a time it appeared that one of the era's most magnetic talents might retreat from the screen altogether. During this period of professional uncertainty, Stamp embarked on a journey of personal and spiritual discovery. He traveled extensively, particularly in India and Nepal, where he immersed himself in Eastern philosophy, yoga, and meditation. Influenced by the countercultural spirit of the time, Stamp sought answers beyond fame and material success. He later described this period as transformative, a time when he turned inward and began to focus on spiritual growth, health, and self-awareness. His writings and interviews from later in life often referred back to these years as foundational to his sense of identity. Though quieter in terms of output, Stamp did continue acting in the 1970s. He appeared in a variety of international productions, though many of them were less successful or visible than his earlier work. Nonetheless, even in lesser-known films, his commanding presence on screen never diminished. He had the kind of face and voice that could elevate even middling material, and filmmakers often cast him for his ability to bring gravity to any role. Stamp's true resurgence came in 1978, when director Richard Donner cast him as General Zod in Superman. Though his screen time in the original film was limited, his performance made a lasting impression. With his piercing stare, measured diction, and aristocratic menace, Stamp created a villain who was both regal and terrifying. 2 years later, in Superman 2, 1980, he returned as the primary antagonist, delivering one of the most iconic villain performances in the superhero genre. His portrayal of Zod was unforgettable. Unlike many comic book villains of the time, Stamp's Zod was not cartoonish, but commanding, almost Shakespearean. His demand, "Kneel before Zod," became one of the most quoted lines in superhero cinema. Audiences around the world were mesmerized by the combination of elegance and cruelty he brought to the character. For an entire generation, Stamp would forever be remembered as the definitive face of Kryptonian tyranny. The role reignited Stamp's international fame, reintroducing him to younger audiences who had not experienced his 1960s breakthrough. It also demonstrated his ability to reinvent himself, proving that even after years away from major productions, he remained a force to be reckoned with on screen. Following the success of Superman 2, Stamp continued to work steadily in both film and television. He appeared in the hit 1984, directed by Stephen Frears, where he played a former gangster hiding out in Spain who is tracked down by hired killers. The performance was praised for its subtlety and complexity, showcasing Stamp's ability to evolve as an actor even as he matured. In the late 1980s and 1990s, Stamp found himself increasingly cast in roles that took advantage of his age and experience, often portraying figures of authority, menace, or enigmatic wisdom. His striking looks had matured into something more austere, and directors saw in him a presence that could lend weight to both dramatic and genre films. A major highlight came in 1994 with The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, in which Stamp delivered a brave and touching performance as Bernadette, a transgender woman who embarks on a road trip across the Australian outback with two drag performers. The role was groundbreaking at the time and earned him international acclaim, as well as an Australian Film Institute Award for Best Actor. It demonstrated Stamp's willingness to take risks and his sensitivity in portraying marginalized identities with dignity and humanity. Through these decades, he also worked with directors such as Oliver Stone. Wall Street 1009 turned the film into a cult classic, cementing his legacy as more than just a figure of the 1960s or a superhero villain, but a truly timeless performer. As Terence Stamp entered the 2000s, he showed no signs of slowing down. Far from being a relic of the 1960s or remembered only for General Zod, he continued to appear in major productions across genres. His distinctive voice and commanding presence ensured that directors sought him out for roles that required gravitas and a touch of mystery. In 2002, he joined George Lucas's Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, portraying Chancellor Valorum, a galactic leader whose fall from power set the stage for the Republic's collapse. Though his screen time was brief, Stamp's performance carried the kind of authority that gave the role resonance. For fans, it was another reminder that few actors could embody both power and vulnerability as effectively as he could. He also appeared in films like Wanted, 2008, opposite James McAvoy and Angelina Jolie, bringing his trademark mix of elegance and menace to modern action cinema. His role as Stick in the 2005 adaptation of Elektra introduced him to Marvel audiences years before the superhero boom became dominant. Each of these roles reaffirmed that Stamp remained relevant across genres. Through a community choir, Stamp gave one of the most tender and vulnerable performances of his career. Critics praised the film for its warmth, and Stamp's ability to convey grief, love, and renewal was widely regarded as the emotional heart of the story. It was a reminder that behind the iconic looks and villainous roles lay an actor of profound sensitivity. Beyond the screen, Stamp pursued a variety of personal and creative interests. His fascination with spirituality and health, which had begun during his travels in India decades earlier, remained central to his life. He became a published author, writing memoirs and books on diet and well-being. His autobiography, Stamp Album 1987, offered candid reflections on his early years and career, while Rare Stamps 1991 and Double Feature 1997 provided further insights into his personal journey and philosophy. His writings revealed a man of curiosity, self-awareness, and a restless search for meaning, energy, and outlook on life. What truly set Terence Stamp apart was his extraordinary range. He was a matinee idol of the 1960s, a menacing villain of the 1980s, an adventurous performer unafraid of groundbreaking roles in the 1990s, and a dignified elder statesman of cinema in the 2000s and 2010s. Few actors have navigated such a long and varied career while maintaining their artistic integrity. Stamp's influence can be felt in the generations of actors who followed. His performances demonstrated that beauty and charisma alone are not enough. They must be combined with courage in role choices and emotional honesty on screen. Younger British actors such as Daniel Day-Lewis and Ralph Fiennes have spoken of their admiration for the boldness of actors from Stamp's generation who bridged the gap between classical stage training and modern cinematic naturalism. For audiences, Stamp offered a gallery of unforgettable characters: the angelic innocence of Billy Budd, the chilling obsession of Freddie Clegg, the mysterious seducer of Teorema, the aristocratic cruelty of General Zod, the vulnerability of Bernadette and Priscilla, the relentless avenger in the Limey, and the tender widower in Song for Marion. Each role revealed a different facet of his talent, and together they formed a career of remarkable diversity. Even in his final year, always remembered for the impact he had made. On 17 August 2025, Terence Stamp passed away at the age of 87. News of his death was met with tributes from across the world of cinema. Fellow actors, directors, and fans celebrated his extraordinary career, recalling both his iconic characters and his generous spirit. Social media was filled with images of his most famous roles, with many remembering him first and foremost as General Zod, but quickly adding that his legacy was far richer and deeper than any single performance. Terence Stamp's career spanned more than 6 decades, encompassing Hollywood blockbusters, European art films, cult classics, and intimate dramas. He was a chameleon who could be both a glamorous leading man and a deeply serious character actor. Beyond the screen, his search for meaning, his writings, and his disciplined way of living reflected a man who was never satisfied with superficial success, but always sought deeper truths. His legacy will endure not only in the films themselves, but in the example he set, that true artistry lies in reinvention, courage, and authenticity. For cinephiles and casual viewers alike, Terence Stamp will remain a symbol of timeless talent, an actor who defined eras, crossed boundaries, and left behind a body of work that will be treasured for generations to come.